And once I started putting my name as Tyson back online, I started picking up, like, the Lakers were my first client. They came to me, made
The Lakers were your first client?
Yeah.
All right, what's going on, guys? We are back with another great interview guest today. Ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to be joined by a fellow card collector, an artist, a designer, a very talented man in the sports card world. Ladies and gentlemen, Tyson Beck is joining us today. Tyson, thank you so much for coming on the pod.
Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, great to be here. Looking forward to chatting with you.
This is going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, our schedules and timing hasn't necessarily worked out in person. You're on the other side of the world. Currently living in Australia?
Yeah, I still live there. Absolutely love Australia. I love America as well, but I'll never move from Australia. It's just home for me.
Yep.
Family's there. I just make the trip over once a month. A lot of people call me crazy, but I like to be here. Doing my thing in person rather than mailing stuff out. So
yep.
Yeah, I'm always here.
Amazing. Well, this is this is going to be a lot of fun. I know I've followed your story for a while, and you and I have had some more conversations over the last 12 months or so. But for those of you that are not aware of like who you are and how you got here, tell us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a 36-year-old from Australia, Adelaide, which is a smaller city.
Okay.
I've been designing since 2005, so it's 20 years now, which is absolutely insane. Like once you hit that 20-year mark, it's over half my life. So basically, back in high school, you're at the point where you don't know what to do. You need to do something out of high school. I love sport. Sport is just my number one thing, and I'm not very good at playing it. I'm not going to, do it professionally, but art and design. I had a photography class in school, digital photography. That was the only thing I excelled in. And at that time, there really wasn't sports design, sports art, really, especially like content-wise. So I thought, why don't I kind of combine the two? Because I'd love to stay in sport. So I went on forums. I used to chat on forums. It was like basketball mixtape or something. There was some mixmakers.net. Yeah, mixmakers.net. And I used to go around and just make free wallpapers and signatures and avatars for members on forums just for fun. And what happened was my username, everyone had like a designer username. Well, my username was Kobe _Bryant _is_best. I was a massive Kobe fan. I wouldn't put my name on the work. And then in my year 12, which is our final year in school, I had a design project, and it was all my wallpapers, and I submitted it. And some girl in the class called me out. She said, I stole all the wallpapers online, I didn't make it, because the person that made it was Kobe Bryant is, the best. And I said, that's me. And no one believed me. The teacher wouldn't believe me, because it was like all my wallpapers were like the #1 search on Google. And they're like, that's not you. So that actually made me change my name online to just Tyson Beck. And once I started putting my name as Tyson Beck online, I started picking up, like, the Lakers were my first client. They came to me, made
the Lakers were your first client?
Yeah. I went to the bank with a check as like 16 or 17 years old with the Lakers logo on it. And they treated me like a celebrity. They thought I played for the Lakers. I come from a small town in Australia, seeing a Lakers logo on a check, that was pretty special. It was only small work, and ever since then I've been kind of, been designing in art and sport. I worked for the NBA for 8 years. But on the cards point of view, I had my first family trip to the States in 2000. I was a massive NBA fan. And I was introduced to trading cards then. And I'm just a very visual person, and just cards, like that era of cards. I mean, Kobe and Shaq and the Lakers and everything, I just bought everything over there. But once I started designing in 2005 onwards, I kind of fell out of love with cards, because I don't know, like that era crossing over, I just didn't visually connect with the cards anymore. Like as a kid, I loved the look of them, but they were getting very templated and standardized. And I kind of moved away. But then what drove me back into cards was in 2014. Topps reached out to me randomly, said, we love your work on Instagram. We'd love to see it on a card. Can we work together? And it's kind of, ever been since. It's been crazy ever since then.
Man, this is going to be a lot of fun. I did not know the Lakers were your first client. So I want to get into the trading cards first, but help me. Let's go back there.
Okay.
How did that happen? What did you do for the Lakers? I gotta know.
Okay, so how that happened was, I'm kind of against art and design contests because I think it's a way to kind of get free work out of creatives. But back then I was a kid, I had nothing to lose. So Phoenix Suns was running a magazine. I think for every game they had like a game night program, like a magazine, and they had submit your design artwork for the cover as a contest, and I won one of the nights, which was cool. And inside, basically, in what you got for winning was they'd put your details in the inside of the cover. So they'd say, they'll ask you favorite team, favorite player, and 2005 era Lakers and Phoenix were like hot rivals. That was like Rajah Bell, clotheslining Kobe, all that stuff. So I said favorite team Lakers, favorite team Kobe, and they're like, we can't put that in the cover. But what we can do for you is pass your details to the Lakers. And I was like, dude, I was a super fan of the Lakers. So they passed over the details, and then the Lakers probably emailed me maybe a few weeks or months later, and I just did a few projects with them, wallpapers, just when like moments happened and like playoff series and everything. And as a kid, like that was my dream.
Yep.
To tick something off your bucket list at that age,
Yep.
I mean, it was absolutely insane.
That is crazy. That is so cool. So you get into cards early, 2000.
Yeah.
You then start working for Topps, 2014.
Yes.
What were some of your early projects with Topps?
Yeah, the first ones was, it might not be a popular series for everyone, but it was definitely targeted towards the youth. Like kids, was Topps Fire. So it was trying to make things more kind of like loud and out there and bold.
Yep.
As a breakaway to a lot of their other products. So it was Topps Fire Football. First product, I think, had Johnny Manziel on the cover.
Yep.
I believe so.
So did you design the whole product?
The whole product I did design. I think there was one card in it, maybe I didn't, but the whole product, and it didn't have my name, nothing. But as years went on, what I really respected and liked about Topps is they introduced my name on the cards. It was like Topps Fire by Tyson Beck. A lot of my logos on the back or my names on it, and that's what I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Working with some of the other companies in the memorabilia and collectibles industry, they don't give that credit to artists and designers, and I think that's great. I feel like Topps understood that creatives actually have their own collectors and own fan base, and yes, they're giving us a platform, but also our fans and collectors and are actually gravitating towards our products made by Topps and they're purchasing it. So I think it was very smart by them, and they do that with a lot of artists now as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I remember 2014 Topps Fire. That's crazy. I didn't know. I knew you've designed some cards over the years. I didn't know your name wasn't on it. So good for that. It's kind of cool for some of the context behind it. I actually think the first thing I noticed or I remember about you and your brand that I think I had an interaction with would have been the Kobe piece.
Oh, yeah.
The Kobe mural. I own one of those. I think they're numbered to like
124 probably.
124 maybe.
You're talking about the timeline one where he dunks. You've got one.
Yeah,
You
I
still have
one.
it?
Yeah.
But
No, you see what's happened? Is that what you asked?
no, do you still have it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I actually don't know anyone with one. I don't even have one myself.
I have one. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think if you go back to some of our early DMs, I think that's what I originally reached out to you about, because I was building a man cave and I was like, I want this photo, and I looked everywhere for one, and I have one.
Wow.
To me, I saw that photo. I'm like, this is the coolest thing in the world, and I bought it right after I think I bought it right after Kobe had passed.
Okay.
But I still have it. It's still framed.
Wow.
I mean, it's incredible. But yeah, I think that was my first interaction with like your brand, was like seeing that. I'm like, who did this? This is crazy.
Yeah, it was definitely like Kobe's my guy. Like honestly, my hero, the person I looked up to and still look up to. So Panini giving me the opportunity to do stuff with Kobe, and actually when he came to Australia, I met him in Australia 2018. It was his last probably speaking event, unfortunately, before he passed away, and I just was in a meet and greet line, and he looked at me and he was like, dude, I know you. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, you're the guy that I follow on Twitter. I was like, what the hell? Like, and I was like, yeah, I've done some stuff with Panini with you. And he's like, oh yeah, I love that work and everything. He's like, that was so cool, that the fact that he saw it and noticed me and remembered it, and just being able to kind of make those pieces. It was actually in the final season of his career, those pieces. So for me, that was pretty special.
Is that obviously the Lakers are your team, Kobe's your guy. Was that the only piece that you worked with Panini on that he signed?
No, there was a range of pieces. I think there may have been 5, but the timeline one of him dunking was absolutely my favorite. I think that's the one that, that's the most common piece I get hit up about.
Yeah.
I think after he passed away, unfortunately, all these Chinese factories and everything, with crazy mass producing these pieces. Obviously fake ones, but that was really hard to track down, and I tried to help stop it, but would talk to Panini about it and everything. But there was other pieces as well. I actually did I don't know if you remember the card set. It was Kobe hero versus villain. It was it was in his final season, and there was some autos inside. There was a hero versus villain, and he picked the best moments of his career. It was a Kobe only set.
It was a card?
Yeah, trading card. That was the only trading cards I've done with Panini. But outside of that, I worked with the memorabilia side, Panini Authentic, and I did some posters and prints and things like that.
So one of my first questions is going to be, who was your favorite athlete in collaboration? I would assume anything Kobe would have been awesome for you.
Yeah.
But because you design and produce your own trading cards now, obviously Kobe would be any answer for you, just knowing what I know about you. But in the ones you've done, who has been your favorite so far?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's probably hard to go past Steph Curry. He's, especially back home in Australia, basketball is just so popular. I know it might not be the biggest sport in America. It's obviously one of the biggest.
Yep.
But back home, the NBA is so big back home. It's absolutely insane how popular it is. And you go to basketball stadiums and anything, there's just kids running around in Steph Curry jerseys. You won't see a LeBron jersey anywhere.
Wow.
Steph is just that guy. With the kids, they're all jacking up threes and everything. There's a lot of other Lucas and Anthony Edwards and Ja Morant, but Steph is the guy.
Yeah.
So to be able to do something with Steph, and I just respect him as a person. I think off the court he's an amazing person.
Yeah.
And to be honest, probably the first project that I did with him, that blew up my stuff.
Blew up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean those autos, some of those autos, I've owned some of them over the years.
Yeah.
They're crazy.
Yeah.
Some because one of them's a young one, young Curry sitting on the stadium.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
So that's a big. I know that's a big one. So yeah, I think there's how many of them were there originally? 3, 4?
Of those, there's 3. I think there's 3 different tiers of that card, autographed, and then the non-autographed versions, 3 different tiers as well. Sorry, 4 with the 1-of-1. Sorry.
Okay.
But with that set, there was a second release in that set, which I actually couldn't believe that he did it. Was that because I definitely just as a very safe person, not wanting to take risks. I don't like doing pre-orders or anything like that. And that rally of that moment back in 2021, when he was about to eclipse Ray Allen for the most 3-pointers ever with 2974, I had him sign these cards saying 2974 most threes in history. He signed them a month or 2 before it happened. I thought maybe he'd be superstitious, he wouldn't sign it. He ended up agreeing, signing it. So then I had the idea of when that ball went through the basket, and it ended up being an MSG, ball went through the basket, bang, the cards went live on the site. Literally the second the ball went through the basket. And I don't know if you watched it, but they stopped the game, people came on the court. By the time the whistle blew and people came on the court, I got a message on my phone saying your cards are gone. And I was like, oh God, there's something wrong with the site. And I looked and it was oh, they all sold. Literally blink of an eye. It was insane to be able to put out something like that. And I know Panini do Panini Instant and Tops Now and everything, but I think a lot of those ones are redemption. You might get the auto later. No, they were shipping out 2-3 days after it happened. People in Australia were getting it in hand the same week that the moment happened. It was crazy.
That's one thing I've loved about your product over the years. Again, I found out about like the membership and the trading cards
Yeah.
and some of those things later. So I've only done, I think, a couple releases
Yeah.
with you. But that is one thing I love about your releases is like, if you're selling it, you got it.
Yeah.
You got it. It's ready to go. Like I bought one of the more recent ones you did was the Calvin Johnson. I have the Megatron inscription. I think there was like 3 of them you did.
There
They were
was
like
3 of them.
Yep.
Yeah. I appreciate the support.
Yep.
You're a big Calvin guy?
Yeah, I mean, I got in cards in 06. So, like, 06 is like Reggie Bush, Vince Young, Matt Leinart, A.J. Hawk, Lendell White, that class. And then 07 I was, as I'm getting into cards more, that class is obviously so much better, but I loved Peterson. So it was Peterson, Calvin Johnson, Joe Thomas, Marshawn Lynch, Darrell Revis. That class was loaded. So, like, as a guy that got into, I was like 15 at the time, getting into cards, I'm loving it. The NFL is awesome. So then you get that class. So yeah, I collect a lot of those guys from like 06, 07, 08. So then it's like Matt Ryan, Joe Flacco, Darren McFadden, Felix Jones. Like, I started collecting a lot of those couple classes. So now I couldn't afford those cards as a kid.
Yeah.
So now I try to collect some of the better cards of those guys because that's really like the piece of my childhood from collecting that I remember.
And was the inscription the
Megatron.
cool point?
I think it was Megatron.
Yeah, but was that the cool point for you? Or
Yeah, I mean, again, that's one thing that like you just don't see that as much in cards now, especially some of the you talk about some of the early Panini stuff, like the 13s, the 14s, some of that stuff, like those Kobe Black Mamba, NT cards. Those are humongous cards. Like inscriptions are rare in cards these days. Like these guys sign so much, and that's what I love about your products is like they're not just like standard base autos. Like the design is cool. We'll get into it in a second. The packaging is cool. The inscriptions, like. We'll get into the game used stuff that's coming. Like, so that's what I really have liked about that is like, Megatron. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen a Calvin Johnson card in a licensed product that has a Megatron inscription, right? Obviously, like you and support your brand, but like it was cool. So that's what drew me to that was the Megatron inscription.
One thing I'll bring up with the Megatron, I don't know if you ever saw it, released probably maybe 3 or 4 months before that. There was a dual card with Barry Sanders.
Yep.
And he wrote The Lion King, and his inscription, and Calvin Johnson wrote the Megatron on here. So to have those dual on a card, dual inscriptions, I think one recently sold for quite a bit of money actually this week on eBay, which was kind of cool to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try and do it, but also at the same time, like I know a lot of people give me props and everything for doing that stuff, but I'm much more small scale. Like I don't pump out that many releases. Maybe once a month I do a release, so I can do those unique things, and I can do them potentially like better than like the other companies because they're pumping out so much stuff, and it is more difficult for them to do.
Yep.
So I do have the ability to do it.
So your smallness is kind of your advantage in that sense.
Yeah.
Yep. So with all of the athletes you worked with so far, how do you like choose who to work with, or like the sets that you produce? How do you make those decisions?
Yeah, I mean, I have ones that I like to work with, but also like, I mean, I just kind of drop like things on IG, like who do you want to see, like, and I see the comments, and I if I can work with them, I try to.
Yep.
Obviously, I try and reach for the stars.
Yep.
And doesn't always eventuate, but if I can get the bigger the better, that's great. I try and I am heavily into basketball just because that's my audience and that's kind of my following early on.
Yep.
But I really trying to do the other sports. Like I've been doing a bit of American football.
Yep.
I want to get more into soccer or football, for other people, tennis and other sports. And I've done curveballs. I've thrown in like Hezbollah, which was his first card. That was pretty big at the time.
Big release at the time.
Yeah, I know a lot. Everyone else, all the other card companies were trying to get him, and to get his first one was cool. I do a lot of the MMA, UFC fighters.
Yep.
That's quite popular. That's getting bigger. That's big back in Australia as well.
Yep.
So I just try and get the people that are good, but then also at the same time, you have to appreciate that there's a lot of great players that they don't really get the hobby love, and they're not really collectible, so that might not be the greatest risk for me to take. So I do try and ask advice and try and see what's popular and everything. And yeah, I guess it's a bit of a mixture.
Gotcha. Well, do you think? I think you're the right guy for this, just based on the work you do. Do you think collectors are starting to focus more on presentation and design and artwork of cards? You mentioned earlier a lot of template type stuff. Do you think just seeing your work and, some of the traction you're gaining that, those things are starting to matter more to like collectors?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, I think in the license game, it probably doesn't mean as much.
Yep.
But with the unlicensed products, licensed with the athlete but unlicensed with the league, I think it's all about the presentation, what it looks like. Because there's a lot of people that, don't like the cards without team logos and that stuff on it.
Yep.
The only way to win them over is if the card looks sick and they're like, I don't even care. Like, I don't care if it doesn't have a logo. This looks sick. So, and that's one common thing I'm kind of hearing. I've walked around and, people from companies are being saying like, oh, like your cards look really good. And, there's other companies that are doing unlicensed stuff. And I'm just trying to, I guess, put out something that is to the point where it's like, this is someone's gonna want this as much as like a licensed product. So
sure.
I think for the area I'm working in, it's all about what it looks like. If I put out a bad looking product, it's just not going to sell.
Yep.
If I had the team logos and everything on it, I think it would sell. But yeah, it's very important.
Well, it sells without the team logos, and it sells very quickly. So I would imagine with the team logos, you'd probably break the internet, because every time I get on there for a drop, it doesn't take super long before stuff is like gone, completely gone.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate. I've got, some great collectors and now friends. Like, I'm friends with a lot of collectors and great community, and people, I don't know if it's like a David and Goliath thing, but a lot of people respect the, like, I bet on myself. I'm just an individual. I'm going up against a lot of the big boys, and sometimes they make my life difficult, but I used to hate it early on, but now I love it. It's like, bring it on, like something challenging. I'm at the point in my life where I don't mind a challenge, so
Well, you've designed some really cool cards. Anything stand out to you as like a card you're like extremely proud of, you really loved, any kind of design, even if it wasn't necessarily your most popular?
I mean, it was my favorite. I think will always be my Jason Tatum collaboration, only because it was the first time I did it, and it, like, just going, that was 2020. The card market was going crazy. My stuff with Topps was going insane. There was a lot of demand for everything, and man, I just remember back then I was like, I don't know, like, I definitely overpaid for Jason Tatum. Like, just look, now knowing the industry and what I'm paying other players, like, I definitely overpaid, and it's actually, like, scary to think how, like, I would never do that deal again, but it was scary to think what I paid and took that risk. But that's what I'm most proud about. It was like, I don't know, it was like, I look back and I think, I was crazy to do that, and it worked out. Like, it was profitable. I was able to kind of get the money, move on to the next thing. But I don't know. It must have been COVID, being locked in, and took a huge risk and a massive gamble. But that'll always be special, because I'll look at it and go, like, that's I don't know, like, that's my inspiration story, because it's like, bet on yourself. Like, just, because before then I was always working with big companies. Like, they would do it, I would just get paid, a royalty or a flat rate. But this one's like, nah, I'm doing it. Like, I'm giving it a go. And
do you think that was your kind of like aha moment where you're like, okay, I can really do this?
Oh yeah, because like I really didn't know how it would go, and then also, like, the world was locked down. Like, no NBA player was signing. They were trapped in the bubble. Like, but his management was amazing. I was able to get that FedEx box of cards into the NBA bubble. No one was allowed in Jason's room. They had to, knock on the door, leave the box there. I actually do have some photos of him signing it, so someone was in the room. Breaking news. But and then they shipped him back, and that was insane, because when that happened, there was a lot of people waiting for redemptions and everything. And I guess, like, it was like, oh, the NBA is in the bubble, they can't sign cards. And it's like, dude, how did this guy get these cards signed? What the hell? So that was kind of like an insane moment, getting those cards inside the NBA bubble with everything going on. And I love Jason, like, as a person, as a player. I know, like, he's a Kobe guy, so, like, I love that about him. And yeah, for me, that's, nothing will beat that. Even if I get to work with, like, a Michael Jordan one day, I don't think anything will ever beat that Jason Tatum drop.
So you talk about, working with Jordan one day, like, obviously you've designed some crazy stuff so far. But if you could build like a dream set, a dream card, no restrictions, what would it be?
I've never been asked that question. That's an amazing question. Man. I mean, it would be crazy to do something with Kobe, but like, autographs need to be in a set, in my opinion. I feel like people, need to be connected to the athlete in that way. I think my dream set would just be, I don't know, just kind of like a set of like the game worn stuff I'm getting really into. I know you collect a lot of game worn items that personally mean a lot to you.
Yep.
And I think matching the cards with the game worn items. So I think the dream set would be getting iconic moments like, Reggie Miller's choke sign, being able to cut that up, put that on a jersey, have the choke sign artwork and everything, and just maybe a massive game winner of, Michael Jordan as well. Like, the problem is these jerseys would sell for more alone than in the card, so it's a bad business decision.
Yeah.
But that would be the dream project, to kind of cut up meaningful cards and meaningful jerseys and put them in cards.
Yeah, it's going to be you've done some cool ones so far, and I've seen the progression over time, so I have a feeling we'll see some crazy stuff from you very, very soon. But with as many as you've worked with, talk me through like maybe some interactions with athletes. You've worked with some big names, like you mentioned Curry. I know one is coming very, very soon with Giannis.
Yeah.
You've got Tatum. Like, those are major stars in the NBA. For a guy doing it by yourself, like, this is an impressive, thing you've built. Who are some of the, experiences that kind of stand out to you one way or the other? What stands out in, all of the interactions you've had?
Yeah, I can run off a few. First one was I was a bit intimidated. Floyd Mayweather, like walking through, we met him at the roulette table, all with his money team security, like a huge group of people. Went to his hotel room, signed. Very intimidating, but very cool guy. He was big into basketball, so we were able to chat about basketball a bit. That was really cool. Floyd Mayweather. Probably the coolest signing I've ever done is Dirk Nowitzki. Absolute legend, obviously. Not the biggest athlete in the world. Amazing person. Like, the fact that like it was done in Australia, but when he was signing, I would ask him questions. He played in the era of basketball I absolutely love, so I was asking questions. Who's best player of all time? I found out a lot of information about like the Miami series with Dwayne Wade and LeBron. How they were coughing, joking about him being sick and everything. That was cool to actually get his like actual like opinions on those things and everything. And when he liked a question, he would put down the pen, put down the card, sit back and look at you and answer it. Like, it wasn't like just getting through this thing. And that, I've never experienced that before. And that was really cool. It's just like, this guy is like, he is a good guy. He's here, he's, wants to chat to you. And if it's a good question, he'll sit down, look at you and give you the time to answer it. So he was special. And then outside that, the more challenging ones, man, like, I'm a collector myself.
Yep.
Obviously, I don't want to put out a bad product. And I feel like, a bad autograph, the way I look at it is it's basically just like, it's not, there's probably better language, but I feel like it's like vandalizing the card. Like, it's like vandalizing the artwork. Like, I care so much about my cards. I'll put so much time and effort into it. Like, I quality control everything. I try and get everything perfect. So the least I can ask for is just like, can you sign it like nicely? Like, and some of them are hard. Like, some of these athletes, they sign a lot. Like even Giannis at the moment, he's got a quick auto, just the G. And I don't know, if representation or him himself knows how much it means. Like, I was able to, get the GA34, and that's not just for me, but like, oh, I can sell it for more. No, it's like I want to put out something that everyone's going to like the look of, because visually, like, I'm a visual person.
Yeah.
You look at it and it's just going to look nicer. So that stuff's very important, but it can be very challenging because a lot of it's time based. They want to get through it as quick as possible, but I'm just trying to explain like how much it means. And more cases than often it works out, but not all the time.
Can you share any fun tidbits from your most recent signing with him? Because I think that's your most recent autograph signing, right? Is Giannis?
Yeah.
Any fun tidbits you can share from that?
Sorry, what's that?
Any fun like tidbits or like things that happen that are like funny, stand out? That's obviously such a big name. I mean, it's a top 5 basketball player in the world. Anything from that interaction that stands out?
He's a jokester. Like,
Really?
he just likes joking around, banter, playful banter. You don't know if he's serious. Very sarcastic person.
Gotcha.
I brought up a few, like, Australian, he liked my Australian accent. He noticed the watch I was wearing. He loves watches. I was like, that's cool. And I spoke to him, like, Joe Ingles is a player that's from my area. He's only, like, from a suburb over. I don't know Joe personally, but he was like, dude, like, Joe Ingles is, like, my guy. He loved Joe. He loved his family. So we were able to chat a bit like that. We were chatting about him coming to Australia. He ended up giving me his personal number, which is pretty cool in my opinion.
Crazy.
And he texted me after it, so that's cool. Like, he's just like, dude, like, Giannis came from, like, nothing.
Yep.
Like, he is just like, he's a regular dude that's, like, now a freaking superstar. But I think, like, he's still that regular dude. And I think, I don't know him. But what I did notice is the second day I saw him, he was with his brothers. And he was like, he was in a great mood. Like, I think just him with his brothers all signing, like, obviously, like, there was interest with their autographs as well. He was in a good mood. One thing I saw, which was kind of cool with Giannis, is like Dennis Rodman was there in the other room. Dennis was like super, super keen to get a Giannis signed jersey and get a photo with Giannis. And that's what I love seeing. The coolest thing about, like, the national and everything, it's not like a private signing with an athlete. When you get multiple athletes there and you see another athlete get excited to meet another athlete. And that happened with, like, Barry Sanders in Cleveland. There was a run of athletes that would come up and be like, you are my hero, like, I love watching you. And just, like, sitting back and, like, experiencing that's like a really cool thing behind the scenes to witness.
That's amazing. Yeah, I would imagine getting those signed, since you do so much, you do all of it in person now, would be really cool to just, meet them and see them outside of, like, the public image, just, on a more intimate level of, like, who they are as people. I'm sure you've got some fun stories. But I know a little bit about the Giannis cards, so I want to give, the fans, the listeners, a sneak peek. First ever game-worn Tyson back patch autos. Is this right?
For basketball, I did. The only one I've ever done, I did a player-worn Justin Fields was his first Bears jersey he wore.
Okay.
It was like a photo shoot or something when he was drafted by the Bears. I did Devontae Smith game-worn Heisman boots, but that was it. There was those two. And then I took a 4-year break, I guess, from doing patch cards. I don't know. It wasn't strategic.
Yeah.
I guess I just didn't do them.
Yep.
And then I've just recently been looking, like, on the outside, looking at, like, I see these massive cards and I flip to the back of them, like, and I'm like, they're not even associated with the player. And I know they're expensive to buy. Like, Game Worn has absolutely blown up. I'm not sure if you're following it, but like, big games, big players, you can't get this stuff cheap anymore. So unfortunately, it's expensive to secure, but I still think it's something that's valuable. That's people just want to be connected to the athlete as close as possible. Yep. And for them, I don't want to do a patch card that's just, like, bought off a Dick's Sporting Good rack. What I'm trying to do is also find games that the player, like, had a great game in, and I'll be providing that information on the card. So, this Giannis patch, we say, it was January 28 in 2022. He played against the Knicks. They won, I think it was 123 to 108. Don't quote me if that's wrong. He's got, like, 38 points. Like, that's, for me, like, I know, like, I've always wanted Kobe game-worn patch cards, but I look at it and I'm like, oh, like, what did he do in that game? Like, if it said, like, he scored 60 in that, I would just be all over it.
Yep.
So that's what I'm trying to do. And I know other companies do it, but I think Fanatics might do a good job at it going forward, but I think it should be standardized going forward. Like, it shows you or talks about the game, because I think I think that's what needs to be done.
So when can we expect to see a preview of these cards?
Yeah, I'm going to be previewing it in August. I'm going to be releasing it late in August. I don't have a date right now, but it's going to be the very end of August. I'm super excited to kind of put it out, see how it tracks, and for me going forward, I want to be doing it with a multiple amount of players, hopefully in different sports. But yeah, I'm very excited. It is kind of like a test for me, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for the world to see it. I've seen a little preview so far. We won't get into it, but I can tell everybody listening, it is incredible. It is very, very cool. I think it will be a big deal. And I think a lot of things you're doing are, a big deal. It's been fun to get to know you over the last year and to, chat more about the space.
Yeah.
But if we sit here a year from now, like if you look outwards for what's coming, what is next for Tyson Beck?
Oh man, what's next? Man, I've like anything, I think you do a good job of providing behind the scenes, real, raw authenticity. It's not always sunshine and rainbows. I try and give people that, but maybe last year or the year before I wanted to give up. It just wasn't worth it. So stressed. I've had my worst days, I've had my best days in this industry. It's very stressful getting athlete deals. Not all of them work out. I've lost a ton of money. I've made money. It's stressful as hell. And for me, it's I'm just doing it until the wheels fall off. I think my wife wants the wheels to fall off. I think she wants a second kid. We just cannot operate with a second kid with the way this is. So I don't know, if everyone keeps buying my stuff, I'm going to keep going. But, if the wheels fall off, they fall off, and I'll be able to kind of settle down and do something else. But for me, I don't know, in a year's time, the only thing I care about is when I meet people or see people or hear comments on social media is saying, oh, your stuff keeps getting better. So that's all I want to hear in next year. If people are my favorite was 2022 or this, I want to hear someone go, this is your best card. That's all I care about. Trying to just level up, get better and better and better.
I will go on record and say that the Giannis set you're producing will be my favorite card you've ever made.
There you go. So my aim is now to beat that
next year. I
have
seen it. I will go on record and say that. Okay. So I'm excited to sit here from a year. I think that's one thing I like about you is you're just so authentic. You are you. You're the same person every time we talk. I'm excited to watch you continue to progress. You care so much about what the end consumer thinks, and I think that's what makes you special, and I think that's what makes your card special. So I'm excited to watch what the next 12, 18, 24 months has in store.
No, thank you very much. That's very kind, and I appreciate everything you do for the hobby, Ryan. Absolutely love your content. Absolutely, we need people like you. It's honestly great to see. I know you, dude. We just had a chat before camera. The cameras were rolling. You talked about all the the photos. People were stopping you and everything. It's probably uncomfortable for you, but dude, take it as a good thing. People only wanting to meet you, see you, talk to you, interact with you because they like you. They vibe with you as a person and what you do and your brand. And dude, just keep doing it, man.
Thank you.
I know people. I don't know if you ever think about coming to a trip in Australia, but I hear people talking about you in Australia when I go to card shows and all that stuff. We don't have anyone like that in Australia. So, maybe there's going to be a card collector down under or something, at some point. But you should roll out to Australia one day.
Appreciate that. I look forward to it for sure. One question. I know you've got to go. Knowing what you know now, I'm going to stick to the sports card design, the sports card creation space. Knowing what you know now, if you were starting over today, what advice would you give yourself?
Oh man. Yeah, that's a good question. I'll just say believe in yourself. Just go for it. Honestly, obviously you want to hear people's opinions, take feedback on board, but man, just believe in yourself and just go for it. What's the worst thing that can happen? To be honest, that's what I tell other people. People hit me up and go, how can I do what you do? And I said, easy, just go for it. Honestly, there's not a recipe. There's not a hidden or secret way to do it. Just literally just, it's content. Just post. Something will happen. And in this, just put stuff out. People will see it. People will notice it. So I wish I believed in myself earlier. That's probably the worst thing. Because I started these cards 2020. I was 31. Man, I wish I started it when I was younger. I wish I did it when Kobe was alive. I wish I had these collaborations with these athletes I grew up loving. Now I'm doing it when they're retired. It's still cool, but doing it while they were playing, oh man, it would be special. So, I can't change the past, but I wish I started it younger and believed in myself. But here it is.
Amazing. Well, I appreciate the time so much. If anyone wants to find you, where can they find you?
Yeah, best place is probably just Tyson back on social media on Instagram. That's probably where I kind of post most, and yeah,
Amazing.
That's the spot.
Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate you.